Hola, ¿cómo están? Oh, this is English. My bad, my bad. Lisa, how are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you so much. Let's put the first slide so people who are listening to us know this is really English. Well, we're speaking in English.
Yes. My
So that's
apologies.
okay.
Sometimes this happens.
Yes, yeah,
Literally.
everyone who knows us, they know we're bilingual, so that's fine. So as you guys
How,
know, we are gonna review today, this afternoon. I'm totally out of space right now. We're going to review the market update for comparing May 2024 to May 2023 in the city of Toronto. I'm going to just give a little introduction to what's happening in the entire GTA, and then Carla is going to jump into to give us her opinion on what's happening, which she has as always a lot of insight to this.
yeah,
So,
so yeah,
mhm.
literally, what as many of as you guys know, last week, the Bank of Canada has reduced their rate finally, not by much, but 0.25%, which it could be the beginning of the new era, because this could be the point where they start to actually drop the rates even further. However, one of the things that we were talking, Elisa and I, is that for those people who are choosing at this particular time variable rates, the rates actually, went down. But for those ones who are going for fixed rates, can actually now qualify for a little bit more, as the variable rate actually is a little bit higher than the fixed rate. So is one of is a really interesting time, 100%. And one of the things that I suggest the most is for you to give time to the market, meaning that if you are going to jump in the market, to definitely keep in mind to um, book a rate when you are in the pre-approval process. And if possible, just if possible, because there is so many components when you are putting an offer, when you are buying, to do a long closing, so as 120 days closing, but only if that's something that the seller is willing to do. Because sometimes when you are negotiating for that particular home that you really like, sometimes the seller wants to close early, and that doesn't give you the time to probably negotiate a better rate, but it gives you the house that you really want to buy. So it's one of those things that you need to assess, only if possible, do a long closing. And yeah, definitely allowing the market to stabilize a little bit more is strongly suggested, as there's so much volatility at this particular time. um, Actually, last week, um, well, week and a half, the bonds were trading almost at 3.9%, almost. And right now they are trading almost at 3.5%. It's a lot of volatility right now. So definitely give yourself time to make sure that you get the absolute best rate.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said. I agree with that. And just to put everything into perspective, what it meant comparing May to May and what probably we should be expecting, especially this is the great market for first time home buyers. And we're going to be reviewing all the slides and making comments so we can back up everything that Carla is mentioning right now, which is a really important information. So really just in overall what has been happening in the GTA. home sales in May 2024 continued at low levels, especially in comparison to last spring's market activity, 2023, which had a high peak in sales. However, home buyers are still waiting for relief on the mortgage rate front in spite of the 25-point reduction to 4.75. Buyers are still sitting and waiting for something else, something more, and they're just expecting to see how the market is reacting. So they are ready to start buying, especially as I mentioned, the first time home buyer segment. And existing homeowners are anticipating a higher demand, as evidenced, right, by a year-over-year increase in new listings. And with more choices compared to a year ago, where buyers benefited from more negotiating room on prices. Okay, so then as borrowing costs decrease over the next 18 months, we estimate around 18 months, more buyers are expected to enter the market, including, as I mentioned again, many first-time home buyers. This will open up much needed space in a relatively tight rental market. Because as you know, the rental market, it's very expensive right now for people who are renting, and that might give some relief. Why? Because some first-time home buyers who were just barely making the numbers to enter as a first-time home buyers, with the increase of rates imposed by the Bank of Canada, they simply couldn't buy. So they stayed renting and they looked for more rental. That's what it's argued in the system. And again, the Greater Toronto Area, which I mean the GTA, reported, again, 7,013 home sales through TREB, Toronto Real Estate Regional Real Estate Board, for May 2024, which is a 21.7 decline compared to the 8,960 sales reported in May 2023. Again, that's a substantial decrease, right? Anyway, as I mentioned, in May 2023, we had that peak during spring that more homes were sold. And right now, new listings entered into the MLS system amounted to 18,612, up to 21% year over year. So you see, we're selling less and there were more homes listed. But as I have mentioned in previous programs, when we are talking about how many listings are entered into the MLS system, the system doesn't account that it's the same property. Many properties in many niches have been listed more than one time, 1 to 3 times. And well, that is accounted as a new listing on itself, right? So because you may ask, how come the sales were reduced 21%? However, we increased the advertising of home increased of 21%, right? And that is one of the reasons. And again, while interest rates remained high in May, home buyers did continue to benefit from slightly lower selling prices compared to last year. So if you were wondering if the time to buy a home was over, taking advantage of the good prices, it's still going on, and it's reflected when we're looking at the prices comparing from May 2024 to May 2023. And we are going to see that in the infographics. And we have been selling prices are just mitigating the impact of higher mortgage rate, and affordability is expected to improve further as borrowing costs trend lower in the following 18 months. However, as demand picks up, we will likely see upward pressure on home prices again as competition between buyers increase. And in some niches, we also have seen that. And again, as Carla mentioned, that's part of that volatility and that uncertainty we're seeing right now in some places. And you say, Elisa, you're telling me that it's going to be more demand and really the market is really slow. Again, it depends exactly where are you thinking of purchasing, right?
Yeah.
And
honestly, right now, I think there could be a really good balance between the rate and the prices of the house and the competitions of the house when you are purchasing. So it could be a really good year for you to jump in the market if it's what you are intending to do. 100%, the rates are not going to drop like they used to be, like 1%, 2%, right? I think we're going to see more like 4, 3%. And right now, for a 5-year fixed, you are able to probably negotiate something from 4.99 to 4.69, depending on the lender and depending on the conditions of the lender, and why not. So definitely is not a very high rate, because I can tell you that last year these rates were almost 7%. And
Yeah.
literally, I think it is the happy middle at this particular time. The prices are not ridiculously high, or there is no a lot of competition. So definitely reach out so we can see where you are at. Because remember, first we need to plan. It's not something that is done like, oh my god, I am gonna buy a home today and tomorrow you have it type of idea. Well, sometimes, like, if you're prepared, it could happen, but the chances are that we need to make sure that you are ready to jump in that market and jump with the best condition.
True, absolutely. So, providing this very detailed introduction, we're gonna just jump right into the numbers for the city of Toronto itself. And I'm not talking about the GTA anymore, just the city of Toronto. The average selling price this May 2024 was of $1,093,000, which was a reduction of only 0.32%. 1.1, almost 1.2 mil. And the number of sales, again, going along with what happened in the entire GTA, where the number of sales was reduced 21.7%. In Toronto, we see also that reduction in 17.78% in the entire city of Toronto. However, if we dissect in different sections, Toronto, we're gonna go now into the in the Midtown, right? Is the next slide. We are going to see traditionally, this is the more affluent area in the city of Toronto, just above the downtown Toronto, with the average selling price of $1,942,000, which is already, yes.
Yeah, I have to mention that this one last year was actually like going up and going up little by little by little by little. And it's nice to see that is dropping just a little bit, but
well, yeah, you're right. The average
selling
price, in this area is above 2 million, and now it's 1 million. 1.9, right? And it already, when you have a decrease of 4.5% decrease, is already considered a significant decrease in the number. Now we don't know exactly what's in details in the communities in these numbers, if somebody's interested in the Midtown area, because we have some pockets where where properties are between $3 and $5 million, and others where they are literally $1.5 to $2 million. So it could be skewed, right? Because suddenly one affluent home that, in a neighborhood that homes don't sell that much, or between 3 and 5 mil, one is sold, then of course that is going to skew the entire average for that sector, right? However, also following the same trend, the number of sales in this sector also decreased 14.5%, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So we have that as a constant in all the sectors. And the next one, well, we have now downtown, which from all Toronto is the most affordable section, and it depends exactly how you would like to live. And as you know, downtown, we have mostly condo apartments in this sector. We also have detached home and townhomes, but the buildings, as you know, is what predominant type of properties we have here, with an average selling price of $774,000 for May 2024, which was not that significant decrease, not increase, decrease again for a third consecutive month, right? Of 1.6%. It decreased again, the average selling price. Now, if you are thinking, or you have your money ready, and if you are getting ready to buy your first property as an investor or as a first-time home buyer, know that you can still find properties in this sector lower than $774,000. As you know, Carla, parking spots in many of these buildings could be averaging between, depending on the area, on the building, between $70,000, $120,000 per parking. So if you are buying, if you can afford to buy a condo with no parking, for sure you can still find something in the 500,000
Wow.
range if you're starting up, right? However, the
Yeah.
number of sales in this area was decreased almost 30%, Carla, in downtown
Almost
Toronto.
30%. Wow.
Number of sales decreased 30%. And many people who have been following us, they know that the condo market is a completely different animal from the rest of the housing market, right? It behaves very differently than the market of semi-detached or detached homes. So yeah, if you're an investor, still is such a great opportunity. And in fact, it's even better for you right now to buy a finished condo than to buy a pre-con condo, which eventually, you're going to be loaded with all those extra closing costs. Before it was different, but right now, how the market is showing all the numbers, it looks like a finished condo or a resale condo right now, it's better for you than to buy a pre-condo. So please reach out to us, and we
100.
can give you all the numbers in details and compare one to the other. And if Carla, if you mind to put out the Calendly there, would be amazing, so people can reach out to us so we can do the analysis for them.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. And now we're going to review what's happening on the west side of Toronto, which, let's say, there was a decrease in average selling price of only 0.62%, which is an average of $1,262,000. Again, the number of sales also decreased here 30%, 30.17%, having a days on the market of 20 days on the market. So this is way beyond of any bidding wars. So the market is much more relaxed now in this sector, as it is also on the East End, where as a buyer, you have the power of negotiating your price and other terms in your offer, which before it was crazy. Whatever you submitted, it was accepted or not, because we had really serious bidding wars. So now it's really good time for you as a buyer to lay out your cards and sit on the negotiating table. Let's see what's happening on the East End, because if you don't really have a specific area to live at, I'm waiting for the East End slide so I can talk about it. If you may help us to show that slide, Carla. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So comparing the West End, where the average selling price is of 1.25 mil, on the East End we have this as only 1,096. So we have over 200,000 different in the average selling price. So probably the East End could be your target area, if you will, to buy a property. And yes, it is true. It is slightly more inexpensive, and you would say, I wouldn't like to go to certain areas of the East Toronto, but know that the area is gentrifying, and it's gentrifying very fast. And it depends also, of course, on the community. So reach out to us so we can let you know which areas are gentrifying faster. It depends, right? What is your plan in the future for 5-10 years after you buy the property, what to do with it? in a fully gentrified area, because where you're going to appreciate best is in when you get in the right location and the right timing if you are looking for fast appreciation. Right now, the East End shows better numbers for that than the West End. And let's see what we have. Okay, at the East End, I'm going to talk particularly about a community called The Beaches, where I don't see that slide yet. Okay, here it is, The Beach. Okay, some people call it The Beaches, some people call it The Beach, but apparently officially it's only The Beach. But most people colloquially know it as The Beaches, where the average selling price was reduced 0.7%, which is not really significant when we compare it from May 2024 to May 2023, with an average selling price of $1.5 million. And look here, the number of sales was not reduced. It actually, in fact, increased 10%, almost 11%. The number of sales increased in this particular area. And you can see also the days on the market in this particular area is one of the lowest ones, with 15 days average in the market. You see, we have been talking about all these number of sales have been decreased, and here it has increased 11%, Carla. So this is interesting. So also depends where you want to buy, in what niche, and what community. We can definitely do an analysis specific to where you would like to purchase, so we can show you exactly what you could expect in the market, or what kind of negotiation tools you will need depending on how that particular niche is behaving. And now we're going to review that area that many people don't talk about, the Durham region outside of Toronto. This is part of the GTA, the Durham region, which starts from Pickering, ends up around Oshawa as the big city on the other end, with the average selling price under $1 million here of $954,000, which was a decrease, now a significant decrease of 3.41% compared to the May of 2023. And again, the number of sales in this huge Durham region decreased 15%. And we're talking here about several cities here. So if you have a particular city in mind, I don't know, Whitby or Pickering or Ajax or even Oshawa, reach out to us again, because every of those cities behaves slightly different. But look at what we have here. Days on the market, only 14 days on the market. So the area has enough movement to have that confidence, and the different price levels that can afford for the days of the market are only 14 days. So that's good. This area is gonna grow pretty fast. And
And I think well, a question actually, Elisa. Do you think that in this particular area, will you be able to get one detached or semi-detached home, that one of those units that you are able to rent the basement, for example, for less than $1 million?
Well, definitely, probably yes, but definitely it has to be searched. It's rather a difficult search, because, as you know, fully finished basements cannot be included officially within the MLS system, right? We cannot say on the heading how many bedrooms or what are the accommodations of a basement. That is treated separately. So it's not as that easy to find, especially a home that has a legal basement apartment. There's so many homes with basements, but if you would like a bank take into consideration that income in that basement for you to find some help in your mortgage payment, because the bank is going to consider that as an additional income for you.
Of course.
You're going to afford that mortgage. So it's going to be difficult. But the message I would like to send, if any existing home owner in the region is listening to us right now, if you have a finished basement, actually it doesn't take much to send an auditor from the city to check out the basement and to pinpoint what little things you need to change for it to become a legal basement. Because believe it or not, I have had clients who are selling their homes, and we do an evaluation, and they can turn it easily into a legal basement. Other are definitely it's not possible. So they have to be sold as an illegal basement. But if you are selling your home stating that your basement it's a legal basement, of course
Yeah,
the
you
value
can
of the
actually
property is
get
going to
get
increase. But then the person
yeah,
who's buying your property is going to help them as well when negotiating with the bank to get that what they need, right?
yeah,
For
100%.
those who don't
Okay.
know, can you explain us a little bit, for those who don't know, why renting a basement will help them with the bank?
Oh, because
Yes.
well, it really depends on which lender you're going with, but some of the lenders allow you to include some of the income that you're gonna get from that basement. So I have seen anywhere from 50,000 all the way to $100,000 more in your purchasing power.
That
Again,
much?
depending on on the type of a scenario and the lender that
Wow.
we're going with. So it's a way for people, to also have that happy middle in this housing crisis that absolutely rate the cost of living has gone up, as well as the mortgage payment. These will definitely help people alleviate that cost. And on top of that, they will have many incentives, as you can claim an expense at tax time, and why not. So definitely it will help if somebody that is a first-time home buyer jumping in the market.
You see, I didn't know the jump was that big, but it's a pretty good amount of money depending on
It
what they
is a
have.
pretty
Oh,
good amount, yeah. Depending
yeah,
also on how much you can rent it a unit, right? Because
of course.
some basements you can only get like 1,500, but some other ones you can get 2,000, $2,500. So
Mm-hmm.
really depends on how much you can rent it for, that you can increase that gap on the amount of the approval that you need. So definitely it's done case by case. So reach out so we can see what is the best option for you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And if
Thank
you have any questions, let us know. And as always, next Tuesday, we are going to be reviewing specifically the condo market. It's a very different
exactly.
thing to review. And well, we're so excited. We're going to jump in it and do some analysis on how the market has been behaving, and for you to see if something you would like to enter. Remember, information is power, and we want you to stay informed.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very valuable information, Elisa. Can't wait for next session, and I will see you next week. Thank
Ciao,
you, guys.
bye.